I can't say the same for everyone on the panel. And
can you put into words how you're feeling?
Look, it's just, I mean, I don't know. I can't put it into words, to be honest. I know what it means to the football club. I know what it means to supporters. And look, it's no secret we've had a tough year, but I've just had this thing inside me, you know, kind of the back half of the year of just one focus, one target. I just felt that, you know, this was it. And to achieve it today, like I said, I know what it means to the club. You know, it's had the tag of sort of a nearly team for a long time. And the only way you break that is by winning things. And we did that today.
And you've had a long sort of managerial career in different countries, different clubs. How tough has it been for you this season, having to deal with sort of, you know, the defeat and sort of every press conference after the game, and then you've got to build up to the next game, and obviously you've had lots of games because obviously of the Europa League run that you've been on. Has it been tough for you as a manager individually?
Look, it's been the toughest couple of years I've had in my career, and I knew it going into it because I knew what I was going into. You know, this football club's had world-class managers and you know, a lot better credential than I am, and haven't been able to get there. So I knew I had a massive challenge in front of me this year. Obviously, added stress of, you know, the injury situation we had and trying to navigate that. Jamie, like I said, I've just had this laser focus on, you know what, I still believe we could win something this year. We went deep into the Carabao Cup. Once we got knocked out of that, my focus just became Europe, and it's cost us. It's cost us in the league, and that's down to me. But I just had a feeling inside me that this was achievable this year, and you know, I'm thankful it all worked out.
And you've spoken a lot about the fact that what a trophy could do for this club, not just this team, but almost the club. Because you've felt for a long time almost like the club's looked down on, and you have that terminology of Spursy. What do you think this trophy can actually do, not just for you and this team, but actually the club going forward in the future for, you know, years to come?
Well, I'm really hoping that it does. It changes the way the club sees itself more than anything else. I mean, externally, you know, you can't really, you know, sort of adjust whatever people think about you, but how you feel about yourself is really important. And as a football club, you know, we've just been close so many times, and I could feel the nervousness every time, you know, in Europe. Every time we got close to something, there was always this, what if it's another year where we miss out? So we've done it now, so that's the monkey off the back. So now the club can sort of stand tall, and hopefully it does. You know, it looks at itself a bit differently and tries to challenge for more trophies. You've won one now, so there's nothing stopping you winning again.
Hi, Ange. Roy Keane here. I just want to say, Ange, well done. Absolutely fantastic. Brilliant performance.
Thanks,
was it part of your tactic with so long to go just to sit back in and shut up shop, really? Did you think one goal would be enough? Did you actually believe that?
Yeah, I thought we could, Roy. We've been really disciplined in Europe away from home. I mean, I think we kept a clean sheet at Frankfurt. We kept a clean sheet at Bodo away from home, and very similar performances. And this group's, you know, got that resilience in them now. Look, it makes a difference when I've got Van der Ven, Romero, Udogi, Vicario, you know, and then, you know, Bissouma and obviously Pyro right back, but Bissouma and Bentancur. It's a real solid sort of foundation for us, and I just felt with United, if we got ahead, then I thought they'd find it really hard to break us down, and we'd be a threat on the counter-attack. We weren't as great in transition as I wanted to be, but, you know, they had some chances, but I just felt we were strong and resilient enough to keep them out.
And one more from Big Meeks himself. I know this is not the Champions League show, this is Europa League, but I would like to ask you, who's your favourite on the show, before you go?
Well, it's not me.
Might not be Thierry either.
I'm the only Spurs fan here, Ange, by the way. I'm the only Spurs fan.
He's come clean now.
Hey, we were all Spurs fans tonight.
Yeah, no, you're definitely a declared Spurs fan. We got you in our camp, Roy. Yeah, look, I love what I do. I'm so blessed to be able to, you know, do what I love every day, and I've got beautiful people around me and my family. And so even in the hardest of days, I still think, you know, I had to pinch myself today, to be honest. I got mates who come from Australia, and part of me was thinking I should be in the stand with them, just enjoying the spectacle, you know. It's difficult for me to comprehend, but, you know, we're here now, we've won it, and you know, something in my old age I can reflect on.
Well, and sorry to interject, but I asked about me, not you.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Sorry, Miko. You've been in my camp all along. I love you, mate. I think Joe Hart's probably influenced you.
Congratulations. Well done. Go celebrate.
Thank you, guys. I will.
Thank you. So there you have it.
Celtic connections, you know what I mean, with Joe Hart, the reference, just in case you... Well,
I feel like there's a couple of things we need to address because Roy all of a sudden comes out at the end of the show. I'm a Spurs fan.
Well, he said it before, he said it before.
You have said it
His
before.
favourite, you know, there's a Spurs fan here.
You know what he's like? He's like Don King. Whoever, you know, he just
What are you going to say if you speak to Amarim?
Oh, listen, tough going. That's brutal.
Life of a manager.
No, the top-level sport is brutal.
Yeah.
But you have to sometimes lose to win. Listen, it was a tough on United, but this is about Spurs tonight. It was about Palace last weekend. You have to congratulate Spurs. Fantastic. United, we'll see what kind of team they are, or group. They're out to bounce back next season. But long summer ahead for United.
Jamie, what did you make of Ange Postecoglou's comments there when he spoke about their tactics? He said he thought they'd be hard to break down.
Well, listen, I've been critical of Ange Postecoglou, and he referenced that, and we had the laugh and the choke, and rightly so. But what I loved tonight was he went to 5 at the back. He brought Danso on at the end of the game, and that's the type of thing I've been calling for. If you're not at your best, OK, how can we nullify the opposition? Because Manchester United were getting on top second half, and it felt to me like, not that they were getting chances, but they were just getting sort of territory. And he changed it, he did something different, and Danso made a header, I think with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, one of the best pieces of defending that we saw in the game, and I love that. I mean, we were speaking to Roy before earlier on as well about managers being adaptable. Yeah. It's OK sticking to your guns, you can't change every week, but at times you've got to change, and he identified that tonight, and I'd just love to see a little bit more of that from him. But there was one thing he also said in the interview that I thought, you know what, he's right. He's talking about his mates coming over from Australia, and he probably does pinch himself. I mean, a young guy from Australia who loves football. Football's not really that big a sport in that country. And he's over in England now managing one of the biggest teams in the country, and he just won a European trophy. So in terms of the journey he's made from Australia, fantastic.
He's done the hard job.
Yeah.
He's done the hard job.
Yeah, so Jamie, essentially what I heard you say there is that Ange Postecoglou listened to your criticism and that's how he won the game. Yeah, you know, you had to give it a little spin there.
I'm sure he'll thank me one day.
Oh, maybe. Not today.
That's part of the game. You've got to learn to play the game better. And that side of it, they were on top. And we couldn't, like Sammy said, we couldn't find a way to break them down. You know, they set up their shop, and we made it too predictable. We weren't dragging them around the pitch enough, creating pockets.
Absolutely too predictable. When the ball was out wide, we were just lumping balls in. And the two centre-halves of Spurs were magnificent tonight, even though I have to say that. They headed everything clear. They defended with their lives and got away with it. But I'm sorry to repeat myself, I just thought we didn't create enough, Ben.
What was missing then in terms of those deliveries into the box, because we've seen them in previous games leading up to this final, that the quality of cross has been brilliant, whereas tonight it just seemed to be either lacking that little bit of power, and it was easy for Vicario to come and collect it, or it was easier for the Tottenham defenders to get their heads on it.
I don't know, maybe it was the occasion. I don't know, it's the end of the season, maybe they're tired, but there's no excuse. You know, your adrenaline should be rushing through your body. You should be able to pick out a pass. Passes that they've been picking out all season, they were at awkward heights sometimes. It should have been on the ground when it was in the air, cross it to the front post when it should have been in the back. There's a lot of them mistakes today.
This is not an excuse, Ben. That's the quietest I've seen Bruno tonight. Whether it was the system, I don't know where we started him, I'm not sure. But he's our player that makes us tick. He's our player that set things off. Even his set players in tonight as well weren't as crisp as they usually are, and we come away with nothing.
There was so much excitement surrounding this final as well. A lot of people thought it'd be chaotic, a lot of goals for either team. Have you seen a final in recent years that has had just one goal that lacked the quality that did?
No, I don't remember seeing a goal of that poor quality. But it was, yeah, I don't know. It was crazy. It's such a one-sided game for me.
Absolutely.
And I'm a bit shocked. Not shocked, but
it was totally opposite, Braves. It was totally opposite what I expected. I expected two attacking teams having a real goal. Once Spurs, as you touched on, Ben, got their goal, they defended. And I've never seen Spurs all season defend like that. never. And they did it when they needed it to win a cup final.
Well, I think it's fair to say that when Garnacho and Xerxes did come on the pitch, when both of their names were mentioned in commentary, you could hear it here, the cheer was massive. I feel like they did have an impact in terms of how they quickened the gameplay up. They got involved for the especially first 5-10 minutes they were on the pitch. Would you have liked to see them on the pitch a little bit sooner?
100%. I thought round about the hour mark, I said to Fraser, what do you think? Would you do it? And we both agreed. I think it could have been a wee bit sooner. Maybe, ifs and buts, but I would have done it a wee bit sooner. Yeah.
We've seen in the first half, Dorgu was getting the ball down that left side. He was just waiting for someone like Garnacho, who's a ball carrier, like Dallo Ahmad was doing in the first half. Just give us a bit of, like I said before, just make it less obvious what's going to happen. But we didn't do that till too late, in my opinion.
I feel like Kobbie Mainoo is another one of those that you could see when he came onto the pitch. He got sort of 10 minutes. It's hard to affect a game a lot inside that 10 minutes, and it's almost.
Think would you do it? And we both agreed. I think it could have been a wee bit sooner. Maybe ifs and buts, but I would have done it a wee bit sooner. Yeah.
We've seen in the first half, Dorgu was getting the ball down that left side. He was just waiting for someone like Garnacho, who's a ball carrier, like Dallo Ahmad was doing in the first half. Just give us a bit of, like I said before, just make it less obvious what's going to happen. But we didn't do that till too late, in my opinion.
I feel like Kobbie Mainoo is another one of those that you could see when he came onto the pitch. He got sort of 10 minutes. It's hard to affect a game a lot inside that 10 minutes, and it's almost the fact that he's done it once, maybe he can come on and do it again.
But we said that before the game. You know, he's come up with the late goals before in games, but I don't think it was 10 minutes he got. And I would like to see him a lot earlier. Everyone was, like you're saying, cheering when they seen him lining up.
To be fair, the manager's substitutions, especially in this competition, have done really well, to be fair, the times he's done it. But he's done it sooner. He's done it a lot earlier to try to change a game, and it's come off. But in the final tonight, when you wanted him to change it that little bit sooner, for the players that you've all mentioned, maybe it was too late.
At the end of the day, to go to Europa League final and fail to score is always a better pill to swallow. And for the chances Manchester United had, you would have liked to think they would have put one of them in. It's difficult to pinpoint it on any certain tactic or any certain players, but Tottenham managed to get a goal in ugly, and once you do, you're in the driving seat to win ugly, which is exactly what we saw even on the biggest stage.
Yeah, well, that's what we're saying. It's going to be, you know, it's a massive occasion. There's a lot on the line for both teams. So the first goal was always going to be crucial. You don't have to score any more goals if you've already scored. Do you know what I mean? So it was the onus was on the other team. And although United, you know, had loads of the ball and got into good areas, they couldn't get that goal.
Just what Fraser said there, Spurs didn't have to get that second goal. They set their stall out. Once it was 1-0, right, let's defend. And they defended very, very well tonight, Spurs, and they won the cup by doing that. Well, will we go away tonight thinking things could have been better, especially in the final third? And I think if we're honest, I think it could have been better in the final third.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are the initial reactions from Fraser and Sammy here at the Bowlers Park in Manchester. Let's head back to Bilbao and get the thoughts of our